How you doing? So did Adman get a buff or did he get a nerf? So let's look at him pre-buff. This is of course with synergies. So it took me 2 minutes and 4 seconds to take down Realm of Vengeance Winter Soldier with a 4-star. And it took 120 hits to do that. So now with the same thing with a 4-star, I just want to say it is the different synergy though, but it's pretty much identical. So it's not going to change much when it comes to damage per second. So let's look at his gameplay. Turn the mute volume down. So did Ant-Man get a buff or did he get a nerf? So one thing I don't like about the new buff Ant-Man, especially for me at least, is his playstyle is so much harder now. All you had to do was spam SP1 and then spam SP2's pre-buff. You know, now you have to try to learn to intersect. You have to, really have to learn how to dex, because if you don't, you're not gonna gain those pin particles, and you're not gonna be able to refresh his debuffs. So that's why for me, one of the things I hate the most when it comes to his buff, as you can see here, not here, but there's a point where I was trying to dex part of the SP2, where I end up not being able to because, I just got hit. I usually don't dex the last special 2 of Winter Soldier because sometimes I get hit, as you can see here. I believe there you go. So with pre-buff Ant-Man, you didn't have to do that. You didn't have to dash back like I had to do that, because you had to do it with post-buff Ant-Man so you can gain those pimp particles. And there's a point in here where you could see I had to take a risk and do an intersect with the SP2 to refresh those poisons debuffs. So yeah, his playstyle is definitely harder now, which I don't like. Before, you can just spam SP1s and then throw the SP2. And the great part about him pre-buff is if the champion is poison immune, you don't have to throw the SP2. All you gotta do is throw the SP1, with the Captain Sam Wilson synergy and Ghost synergy. His attack is strong enough to just keep spamming SP1s, even against poison immune champions. But against this new buff Ant-Man, they pretty much nerf his synergies big time. That's why he's definitely worse when it comes to post buff with synergies. I just want to say he is better without synergies, but post buff with synergies, he's just really terrible. As you could see here, oh man, bye. Let's look at it. As you can see here, it took me longer, 2 minutes and 11 seconds to get him down to 48%. Okay, with 108 hits to get to 48%. So he's definitely worse with synergies than he was pre-buff. And for me, if I had to grade this buff, I give it 4 out of 10, and that's like being generous. I don't know why Kabam, when they buff champions, that they're weaker with synergies. Why can't they just buff champions? They're gonna be better with synergies. They did that to OG Black Panther, and they did that with Guillotine. They're worse with synergies than they are pre-buff. Now, obviously, Ant-Man, if let's say if they just kind of tune him up. Before, he didn't have an SP1, right? So give that Captain America Sam Wilson synergy he had and put it on his SP1. And before pre-buff, he didn't have an SP3. Okay, now give that SP3 to, that petrified debuff on his SP3. Make him poison and shock immune, and also make him buff immune as well. What else? That's it. A simple buff like that without nerfing the synergy from Ghost and Ronin. I would have gave this buff 9 out of 10. And people who ranked him up, just because of the Captain America Sam Wilson synergy as well as Ghost synergy, they would have been happy with his buff. Now they're mad like me. I'm pretty upset about this buff because people rank up their champions, to see like how much damage they can do, and for fun as well. And when they took away the the synergies with Ghost and Captain America Sam Wilson, not to mention Ronan as well, it really just made a lot of people upset with this buff. If they just, said said what I said, like gave him that SP1 with Captain America Sam Wilson synergy, put it on his SP1 kit, SP3 Petrified buff, make him immune to poison and shock, and also immune to buffs. What else? That's it. A simple buff like that without nerfing, a simple buff like that, I would have given him 9 out of 10. It would have been a really good buff. Instead, I would give him 4 out of 10, and that's being nice. This buff is strong in so many ways. Okay, yes, he is better without synergies, but that's not saying much. Think about it. What was he like? One of the worst champions in the game before he got buffed. I would probably give him 2 out of 10. Okay. Now he's what? A decent champion without synergy, maybe above average. I give him 6 out of 10. Okay, there's a lot of champions that are decent, or even you could even say above average champion as well, like Human Torch. He was above average champion. Okay, then he got a buff. He became the best science champion in the game. Angela too. He was above average champion. Before she got buff. Then she got a buff. And then she got another buff with the Odin synergy, like a synergy buff. She's like the best cosmic champion in the game with Odin synergy, depending on how many wins you have. Possibly even the best champion in the game, depending on how many wins you have with Odin synergy. So it's like, I just don't see the purpose of this buff. It doesn't make sense. Like, they put all this time and then they mess it up. Why would they do that? I just don't get it. What do you guys think about Ant-Man buff? Is it good or not? Do you like it? I personally don't. I think he's just weaker with synergies now. And especially like against poison immune champion, his damage is so weak now. Before he got buff, even if you could just have that Captain America Sam Wilson synergy as well as Ghost synergy. All you had to do was spam SP1. You didn't have to throw SP2, and his damage was still pretty good. Now if you're up against poison immune champion, his damage is pretty much almost nothing. It's almost like he got like pretty much pre-buff without synergies. What do you guys think about Ant-Man buff? Thank you.